I'm here with lifelong Steeler fan Bill Stroth right now. He's going to talk about some of the things he has down here in his room here for the Steelers.
Jack Lambert is my favorite Steeler. As you can see, he has his own corner. I just think that he epitomized Pittsburgh football because he was an animal. I'm a big fan of the Steelers from the 70s because that's when I'm old, so that's the 70s mean a lot. That's Franco Harris's Immaculate Reception, run it in, autographed. There's only 13 of them in existence, and I have number 13. A guy from Canton, Ohio, made me these plaques of all the old-time Steelers in the Hall of Fame. And people have given me things and bought me things for presents and just wanted to be part of the Steeler room that I enjoy being in. And this is where I watch football on Sundays, whenever the Steelers are on TV. Chuck Noll, if you can read what he says there, champions are champions not because they do anything extraordinary, but because they do the ordinary things better than anyone else. I kind of had a fulfillment of a dream. I got to, and Maurice is one of them, I got to coach the Bay City Steelers, and I felt like I was a mini Chuck Noll, but those are probably the greatest years of my life. And I just like collecting stuff, as you can see, for my Steeler room. And I'm a Penguin fan. I'm a Pirate fan, but they're no good, so I don't have much Pirate stuff. But yeah, this is I told my wife I'd make a room that I could die in. And if I have to, this is where I got to go.
So we're going to talk with Bill a little bit, too, about being a Steelers fan and, what it's like to be a Steelers fan. Sorry about that, guys. So we're going to I just wanted to show you some of the stuff that Bill had here in his collection. For all you Steelers fans out there, all you Penguins fans, Pittsburgh team fans, we got a lot of stuff here. If you like Pittsburgh, you'd love Bill. So we're gonna kind of go here, and Bill, I don't know if you're gonna sit in the chair there or how we're gonna do it. It's up to you, however you want to do it.
So that's where I watch football at, in this chair.
So we're going to talk to Bill. Let me move that a little bit closer. So Bill, let's just kind of talk a little bit. Can you tell me where you grew up, city, state?
I was born in Butler, Pennsylvania, which is right outside of Pittsburgh. And my father passed when I was 8 months old, and my mom put me in a place called Milton Hershey School. At the time, you had to have one or both parents dead, and I went there for 11 years, which probably saved my life, because if I wouldn't have went there, I'd be in jail. And I'm very proud of the fact that I went to Milton Hershey School. And you wonder, living on the eastern side of Pennsylvania, why I wouldn't be an Eagle fan or something like that. When you're born in the Pittsburgh area, you're born with black and gold blood. It's in my blood. I've tried. I got thrown out of Cleveland Municipal Stadium for throwing dog biscuits, acting like a Browns fan. And so I hate the Browns. I am a Steeler fan. I'm a Pittsburgh fan. I love the Penguins. I love the Steelers. I love the Pirates. I'm a Pittsburgh fan. If I could move back to Pittsburgh, I would. But General Electric hired me, and I put 42 and a half years in there, and my life is here now.
Okay, great, Bill. So you answered several of the questions that I was going to ask you already. Obviously, you said you worked at GE. You said 42 years you put in there?
42 and a half years.
Okay. Was there a lot of Steelers fans out there, or?
We had a lot of fun there when you could have fun at work and everybody wasn't so politically correct. There were times I painted my head like a Steeler helmet and I went to work like that. I would ride up and down the aisles on a Cushman cart waving my terrible towel. I dressed a doll up and hung it from a crane. And it was all in good fun, but you can't do that stuff anymore because people get mad.
Right. So, obviously, you said when you're born in the Pittsburgh area, I was going to ask you, when did you become a Steelers fan? What made you a Steelers fan? So is it just being born in that area, or what is it? Is that what it is?
Yeah. They send babies home in terrible towels. My grandson, I gave my stepdaughter and her husband a terrible towel to bring their son home in. And he is now an avid Steeler fan. He'll come down here. He can tell you everything on the walls. He can tell you when they won the Super Bowl, who they beat, what year it was. along with the Penguins in their Stanley Cup. It's in my blood. I can't.
Right. So tell me what are some of your greatest? Because obviously you were a fan in the '70s. What are some of your greatest memories of the '70s Steelers, and what was it like to be a fan during that time?
It was awesome because they won so much. One of my greatest memories is when Jack Lambert said they should put skirts on all quarterbacks because they didn't want them to get hit. Winning the 2 Super Bowls and then losing a year and then coming back and winning 2 more. I mean, it was, and I visited Pittsburgh many times because, I still had family down there, and it was just so awesome to be down there, and the parties that went on, and the city itself. It was awesome to be there.
Right. So tell me, who are your 3 favorite Steelers of all time?
My favorite Steeler of all time is Jack Lambert, without question. You saw his quote over there. It said something, I might not have it word for word, something to the effect that if I came back to life again or reincarnated, I would be a Pittsburgh Steeler. I'd be an NFL player, and you better damn well bet I'd be a Pittsburgh Steeler. In my mind, Maurice, I coach you in football. I like to teach them kids to hit.
Right.
You know. My second favorite, obviously, would be Terry Bradshaw.
Okay.
I think that he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. People didn't give him credit, but he called his own plays. Turkey Jones put him on a pile drive him into, they didn't protect quarterbacks back then.
Right.
And I would have to say my third favorite Steeler would be Troy Polamalu.
Okay. So,
he epitomized football. That guy could play. I hate what the Steelers did to him at the end of his career, but he came back and made amends. Troy Polamalu is a great guy.
Okay, great. So you kind of answered this already, but I'm going to go back and ask you. If you had to pick one player that displays what it means to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, who would it be?
Jack Lambert, without hesitation.
Okay, why is that?
Because he'd play out in the middle of a gravel field and put the black and gold on. He was a Steeler. He is a Steeler. I met him one time down at the hotel. I don't remember what the name was, down at 10th and State there. He was doing an autograph thing, and he was very pleasant, and my cousin was with me and asked why you could only get two things signed. He said, that's a dumb rule. And he said, who made that rule up? And Jack stood up, and he was so freaking intimidating. That's my rule. You got a problem with it? And I mean, he's just a skinny guy, only weigh, 205? But he was barking at me and Joe Green and telling Joe Green what he was doing wrong. I mean, come on, Joe Green?
Right.
Are you kidding me? So, yeah, Jack Lambert, I think he epitomizes the Steelers.
So any games over the years that you always remember as a Steelers fan?
I went to the last time they beat Baltimore to go to the Super Bowl. And my wife and I went, and we were sitting up pretty high, and she got scared because the stadium just started shaking. I get goosebumps talking about this. And the whole stadium was singing Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. It was so great just to be down there. We didn't want to leave, and that game sticks in my head. And a few games over in the dog pound. I used to sit in the dog pound. I call it the Humane Society over in Cleveland. And I would sit there amongst all them people with my Steeler gear on, usually end up in a fight somehow, and that's my younger days. And I enjoyed it. I'm sorry. I just enjoyed going to Cleveland and laughing at them pukes because we beat them all the time.
So what are your thoughts on the Steelers like over the past 5 years? So they've had some good teams. They didn't get to the Super Bowl. What are your thoughts about the Steelers right now?
My first thought is a lot of people are down on Mike Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin is an excellent coach. That's my opinion. People may not agree. I think they're getting old. Their offensive line is young. They need to start to gel and get together. Ben needs to retire. Do they need a quarterback? Yeah, they need to draft a quarterback and groom him. Their defense is tough, but nowadays, and Maurice, I coach you, I believed in hitting in practice. Nowadays, they don't do that. So these guys are getting hurt left and right because they're not used to getting hit.
Right.
Do I think they'll be back in the Super Bowl sometime soon? No, it might be 5-10 years, but I still think Mike Tomlin will be the one to take them back to the Super Bowl. Okay. That's my opinion.
Right. What do you remember from the Cowher years? What do you remember like
when he'd yell at somebody, he'd spit in her face. And the one thing I do remember, he took a picture and shoved it in a ref's pocket because there was too many men on the field, and they wouldn't acknowledge that. And I remember him on the sidelines when he lost his Super Bowl, and I remember him when he won his Super Bowl. And that was Bill Cowher. I mean, being a hometown kid coaching that team. I coached the Bay City Steelers, and I know what it did to me. He coached the real Steelers. What do you think it did to him?
Right.
You know.
What about Chuck Noll? What can you say about Chuck?
Chuck Noll was the emperor. You did what he said. I've watched a lot of TV shows and film on him, and he was a wine connoisseur. He liked classical music. He liked a lot of different things, and he, just like the thing over there I read to you, he expected you to do the ordinary things good. Mm-hmm. And he set the standard. You know, I mean, come on, look at the draft class they had. All the people in the Hall of Fame that he drafted. A great football mind.
Right. What about the Rooney family?
Rooney family is top notch. Can you find a player, maybe Le'Veon Bell, can you find a player that says anything bad about the Rooneys?
No.
You know, the Rooneys, and they're diversified. They walk the walk, talk the talk, walk the walk, whatever you're gonna call it. You know, they come up with the Rooney Rule, which I think is a great thing, and they lead by example.
Right, they do. They want the rule, and then they lead the way by doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and they always have. So the Steelers-Browns rivalry, is that really as big as it's made out to be, or is that just another game?
It used to be a lot bigger than it is now, but it's getting to the point after they beat us twice last year, once in the playoffs. It's getting back to that. I joke with a lot of my Browns. I have a lot of Browns fans that are friends of mine, and they get mad at me now. You know, I'm like, dude, it's all in fun. You know, don't get so upset. But the rivalry ain't what it was before they left and went to Baltimore. Is it going to come back? I hope so, because it's fun. But if it causes me to lose some friends, that I won't like. But I'm going to rip on a Browns fan as quick as anything, because that's just me. And I'll take it in return. Give it back to me.
Right. So what does it mean to you to be a Steelers fan?
God, I don't know. I never thought of that. It means that I root for the greatest franchise in professional football history in my mind. I root for a family that they're God-fearing. They're good God-fearing people. They actually care about their players. They're not just a piece of meat or, you know, a ball player that they're going to pay and use and wash up and get rid of. And I'm just proud to be from the Pittsburgh area. I think Pittsburgh is the greatest place in the face of the earth.
Right. So I know you coached football yourself, and you coached Little League football, and when you coached a lot of years with the Steelers, and I was one of your players a long time ago, and loved playing for you. And a lot of the teams, like they might have been like the Browns, for example. They really didn't have. They had a uniform that kind of looked like the Browns, but when you coached us, we looked like the Steelers. Why was that important for you? Like, we actually look like the real Steelers.
Because you're the Steelers. I used to get, I'd write the Steelers, and they'd send me decals for our helmets. And my cousin Bert Davis, he painted the helmets. We painted them up. We bought the pants, so we didn't just have white pants and black and gold jerseys. And those, Maurice, the kids, they meant a lot to me. They still do to this day. My wife now, she wasn't around when I was coaching. Those were my kids. Mm-hmm. Where I went to school, Milton Hershey gave me something that I didn't have. And most of the kids I coached, they come from broken homes. They come from, one-parent families and different things. And it was my way of giving something back.
Right. So why? Because I know a lot of players love playing for you. I mean, I say it was that hot dog and Poppy used to give us at the end of the game. I don't know, but what was it about you? Because even when you went to high school, I mean, no matter where you went, Academy East, coaching Little League, players loved you, and they still talk about you today. Why do you think? What is it about you that people love?
Well, first of all, Maurice, I couldn't give you hot dogs because then you'd have to sweat off to make weight the next week. But I was just real with the kids. Let's have fun. Let's win football games. You ain't no different than me. I'm just a little older than you. Let's have fun. And right. My thing was, let's have fun. And I respected them. I've seen some kids like yourself that have made something really good out of yourself, and then I've seen some kids that not done so good, and I hear different things, and I won't mention any names, but one kid that killed himself, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I sat down here and cried, and Damian Dorsey, I don't know exactly what happened to him, but he passed away, and that really bothered me, and you know. And I see some of the kids I coach that went to jail, and I think, what didn't I do? What could I have done better to make them not do that? But the biggest reason I think kids like me is because I like them. Right. I wasn't an enemy. I was their friend and their coach. Don't get me wrong. If you didn't do something right, I was going to bark at you. But I think you can remember a pitch one year that we were beating the Cowboys 40-something to nothing, and you pitched the ball. Tell me you don't remember that. But if I didn't yell at you or get on you for stuff like that, I don't think you'd have went to the Western Conference Finals when you were
at Central.
At Central, yeah. So, and I coached a lot of them kids, and I was proud that when that team went to the finals, I said, nobody come and patted me on the back, but I knew here that I might have had something to do with that.
Right. Yeah, we all played for you.
Yeah, so
we were all Steelers. So I had a question about memorabilia here. And obviously we already showed the people that any memorabilia down here that's really special to you. I mean, anything down here? I
don't know if you saw that car over there. It's 001 of 200 of Jack Lambert, and that means a lot to me because I'm a Jack Lambert fan. There's a few things down here that my brother gave me, like the Jack Lambert poster over there with all the Super Bowl tickets on the side. That means a lot to me because it came from my brother, and my brother's still here, but he's not doing real well, so that's always going to stick in my heart, yeah.
Right. Do you go to many Steelers games? Or?
I used to, but I'm too old to walk up and down the steps and got to go to the bathroom too much. So I mean, if the weather's nice and I had an opportunity to sit on the first or second level, I would go. But yeah, I'm too old to walk up and down all them steps.
Right. So this is perfect Steelers place right here. Anyways, right?
Yeah.
This is as good as it gets. Any disappointing moments as a Steelers fan? What was some of anything?
When they lost the Super Bowl to, oh geez, now my mind's blank.
Cowboys?
Yeah, because they beat them for 3 quarters. Bill Cowher.
In 94 or something like that?
Yeah, they beat them for 3 quarters, and the first quarter the Cowboys did well, and Neil O'Donnell threw them 2 picks, and I felt bad for Bill Cowher because I'm a Bill Cowher fan as well. And yeah, I felt bad for that. That sticks in my head a little bit, but you can't win them all. Like he said, you win some, you lose some.
Right. Just to wrap up here, Bill. Once again, we're here with Bill Stroth. He's a avid, lifelong Steeler fan. He was a coach himself, hardworking guy. Worked at GE for over 40 years. What do you think of the Rooney's philosophy of not getting rid of coaches? What do you think of that? What do you think of that? Because some people say they should fire their coach, and they keep their coaches. What do you think of that?
I think that it's a great thing that they keep the continuity going. I mean, come on. It obviously worked with Chuck Noll. It worked with Bill Cowher. It's working with Mike Tomlin. Everybody's a football coach until you get into the action and get on the sidelines, and I coached a little bit of high school football, which is obviously nothing like the pros, but it's still political. It's still nerve-wracking,
Right.
I mean.
Well, it's intense, right.
Yeah, it's intense. I mean, but you figure what he's doing, Mike Tomlin is doing, is very intense. So, yeah, I mean, you keep that continuity going. A guy goes to Pittsburgh to play ball. He knows Mike Tomlin's going to be there, or he knew Bill Cowher was going to be there. Chuck Noll was going to be there. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing that they do that. And sometimes it takes you 3 or 4 years to build a program.
Right.
And, I mean, look at the Browns. They've had, how many coaches,
Even since Tomlin's just been there, right?
Yeah,
right.
And they don't get any continuity built up, and they suck.
Right. Yeah, I was just telling somebody the other day, I think one of the reasons why I think the Rooneys keep their coaches is because players know, like you just said, when you go to play for Pittsburgh, if you don't act right, some teams they get rid of the coach. They don't get rid of their coach. So you better act right or you're going to be out of here. So because we're not getting rid of our coach. Mm-hmm. So I think that's how they get a lot of guys to buy in. When you go there, you better Any Steeler cheers? Any?
Just here we go, Steelers was waving that towel. That's the greatest thing. And the song Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. I want to hear that again in my lifetime, and it's happening.
Right.
Not just because I'm hearing it. I want it to be true.
So thanks, Bill. Any last thoughts for the Steelers fans out for Steeler Nation? Anybody?
Just don't give up on the Steelers. We're going to be there. It might not be this year. It might not be next year, but we'll be back. And Mike Tomlin will be the coach to do it. A lot of people won't agree with me, but Mike Tomlin will be the coach to do it.
Right. Well, thanks, Bill. Hey, we appreciate your time, man. Inviting it into your home and into your Steeler. What do you call it? Your
Steeler cave.
Your Steeler cave down here. This is beautiful and always great to see you. And thanks for your time, Bill.
Thanks, Maurice.